The fast food industry is facing its biggest crisis since the Great Depression, with 15 major chains on the brink of collapse. What if I told you that your favorite restaurant might disappear by the end of 2025? The signs are everywhere, and the numbers don't lie. In an unprecedented wave of closures, some of America's most iconic fast food chains are struggling to keep their doors open. Rising food costs, labor shortages, and changing consumer preferences have created a perfect storm that's decimating the industry. Let's dive deep into the shocking reality of these failing chains and what it means for the economy. Subway, once the world's largest restaurant chain by number of locations, is leading this downward spiral. In the past 3 years, they've closed over 4,600 locations in the United States alone. Their latest financial reports from February 2025 show a staggering 23% decline in same-store sales compared to the previous year. The company's attempt to sell itself has failed multiple times, with potential buyers backing out due to concerns over franchise profitability and mounting debt. Burger King, owned by Restaurant Brands International, is experiencing what industry analysts are calling a royal collapse. Their recent quarterly earnings report revealed that 960 locations are slated for closure by mid-2025. The chain's $400 million renovation program, dubbed Reclaim the Flame, has fallen flat, with franchisees refusing to invest in costly upgrades during these uncertain economic times. Dunkin Donuts is facing similar challenges. Despite their aggressive expansion plans in 2023, they've announced the closure of 800 underperforming locations across the United States. Their parent company, Inspire Brands, recently reported that same-store sales have plummeted by 15% in the first quarter of 2025, marking their worst performance in company history. Pizza Hut's situation is equally dire. Yum Brands, their parent company, has confirmed the closure of 500 dine-in locations in the next 6 months. The shift to delivery-only models hasn't been enough to save these restaurants, with rising food costs eating into already thin profit margins. Their largest franchisee, NPC International, filed for bankruptcy protection last month, putting another 900 locations at risk. Quiznos, once a major player in the sandwich market, has seen its store count drop from over 4,700 locations in 2007 to fewer than 200 today. Their latest financial disclosure shows they're losing an average of 3 locations per week, with no sign of stabilization in sight. Dairy Queen, owned by Berkshire Hathaway, is closing 375 locations across the United States, primarily in shopping malls and urban areas. Warren Buffett himself acknowledged in his recent shareholder letter that the traditional ice cream and fast food model is becoming increasingly unsustainable in today's market. Jack in the Box has announced plans to close 250 locations after reporting a 19% decline in quarterly profits. Their attempts to compete with larger chains through delivery partnerships and menu innovation have failed to reverse the trend of declining sales. Arby's is another casualty of the changing fast food landscape. Inspire Brands has confirmed the closure of 450 locations, citing unsustainable operating costs and shifting consumer preferences. Their famous roast beef sandwiches haven't been enough to maintain profitability in an increasingly health-conscious market. Boston Market, once a pioneer in the fast casual segment, has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection for the second time in 5 years. Their remaining 300 locations are at risk of permanent closure, with suppliers refusing to extend credit terms due to mounting unpaid bills. Steak 'n Shake has closed 175 locations in the past year alone, with another 150 on the chopping block. Their parent company, Big Laurie Holdings, reported a $4.6 million operating loss in the latest quarter, putting the entire chain's future in question. Del Taco, despite merging with Jack in the Box in 2021, continues to struggle. They've announced the closure of 125 locations across multiple states, with California operations being particularly hard hit due to new minimum wage laws and regulatory requirements. Long John Silver's, America's largest quick-service seafood chain, is closing 200 locations due to rising seafood costs and changing consumer preferences. Their parent company has initiated a strategic review that may result in selling the entire business. Checkers and Rally's have announced the closure of 150 locations after failing to secure new financing. Their drive-through focused model, once considered an advantage, hasn't been enough to overcome operational challenges and increasing competition. Sbarro, the mall-based pizza chain, continues its decline with 100 planned closures. The ongoing death of shopping malls and reduced foot traffic has devastated their business model, leading to a 28% revenue decline in the past year. The implications of these closures extend far beyond just lost jobs and vacant storefronts. The fast food industry employs over 3.7 million Americans and contributes significantly to the GDP. The collapse of these chains could trigger a domino effect throughout the economy, affecting everything from real estate values to agricultural commodity prices. Commercial real estate is particularly vulnerable, with thousands of retail locations potentially sitting empty. Real estate investment trusts, REITs, specializing in restaurant properties, have seen their stock prices decline by an average of 35% this year alone. The supply chain disruption is equally concerning. Major food suppliers like Cisco and US Foods have reported significant revenue declines, with some considering layoffs to maintain profitability. Farmers and ranchers who supply these chains are also feeling the impact, with some facing bankruptcy due to lost contracts. What's particularly alarming is the speed at which this collapse is occurring. Industry experts predict that by the end of 2025, the fast food landscape will be unrecognizable from what we knew just a few years ago. The survivors will likely be those chains that can successfully pivot to digital ordering, ghost kitchens, and healthier menu options. The Federal Reserve's latest economic projections acknowledge the significant impact these closures could have on unemployment rates and consumer spending. Some economists are warning that this could be the catalyst for a broader economic downturn, particularly in regions heavily dependent on service industry jobs. So, what can we learn from this unprecedented industry collapse? First, no business model is too big to fail. Second, adaptation to changing consumer preferences and technological innovation is crucial for survival. And finally, the traditional fast food model, which has dominated American dining for over half a century, may be reaching its end. For investors, this presents both challenges and opportunities. While established chains struggle, new concepts focusing on health, sustainability, and technology are gaining ground. The question is, will these new players be able to scale successfully, or are we witnessing the end of an era in American dining? The next few months will be crucial for these chains. Those that can't secure additional financing or successfully restructure their operations will likely disappear entirely. For consumers, this means fewer options, but potentially better quality from those that survive. For the economy, it means adapting to a new reality where one of America's most iconic industries looks very different from what we've known. What do you think about these changes in the fast food industry? Are you seeing evidence of these closures in your area? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates on this developing story.